Stop calling this a normal NBA offseason, because what happened over the last few weeks didn't just change a few rosters, it changed the entire league. Championship windows slammed shut overnight. Franchises that looked untouchable suddenly found themselves scrambling for answers, and some front offices made decisions that fans are going to argue about for years. But here's the craziest part. Most people only saw the blockbuster headlines. What they didn't see was how every single move triggered another one. Like a row of dominoes, one superstar's decision forced another. One failed negotiation completely changed the plans of 3 different franchises. And by the time the dust settled, the NBA looked nothing like it did just a month ago. So let's start with the move that changed everything: Giannis Antetokounmpo. For years, Milwaukee built its entire identity around him. An MVP, an NBA champion, the face of the franchise. Most fans believed he'd finish his career wearing a Bucks jersey. Instead, the impossible became reality. The Bucks lost the player they spent nearly a decade building around. And the shockwaves spread across the entire league, because when a player like Giannis becomes available, nobody stays patient. Contenders stop thinking about the future, they think about winning right now. That pressure pushed several teams into making aggressive decisions, some brilliant, some incredibly risky. One franchise, in particular, pushed all of its chips to the center of the table. Miami. Landing a player like Giannis instantly changes expectations. You don't trade for a superstar to make the playoffs. You trade for one because you believe you're ready to win a championship. But making a blockbuster trade is only half the battle. The bigger challenge comes afterward. Can you still build enough depth around your superstar? Can your role players survive the pressure of championship expectations? And perhaps the biggest question of all, was the price simply too high? Those questions started appearing almost immediately, because while Miami celebrated one of the biggest acquisitions in franchise history, other contenders refused to stand still. Philadelphia was next. For weeks, nobody seemed to know what LeBron James was going to do. Retire? Stay where he was? Join another contender? Every day brought a different rumor. Every insider had a different prediction. Then, the announcement finally came. LeBron chose Philadelphia. It wasn't just another free agent signing. It completely changed the balance of power. Suddenly, one of the most experienced players in NBA history joined a team that already believed it could compete for a title. On paper, it looked terrifying. But paper has fooled NBA fans before. We've seen superstar teams collapse because of injuries. We've seen championship favorites fall apart because the chemistry never clicked. And we've seen talented rosters discover that basketball isn't won by names alone. The pressure on Philadelphia immediately became enormous. Anything short of a championship would be viewed as failure. Meanwhile, Boston found itself facing questions of its own. Not because of what it did, but because of what it didn't do. Sometimes the biggest offseason story isn't the trade you make. It's the opportunity you let slip away. One decision can completely reshape the future of multiple franchises. A deal that almost happened, a player you refused to include, a negotiation that fell apart at the last second. Those moments rarely make headlines immediately, but months later, they can define an entire era. And this offseason had more of those moments than anyone expected. Then came another surprise: Ja Morant. Few players in the NBA can change a game faster than Ja when he's healthy. His explosiveness is unmatched. His athleticism is unforgettable. But talent has never been the question. Consistency has. So when news broke that Portland had taken the gamble, fans couldn't believe it. Was this the move that would finally push the Trailblazers back into contention? Or was it another high-risk decision that could backfire spectacularly? That's the thing about this offseason. Every blockbuster came with just as many questions as answers, and some of those answers won't arrive until the playoffs. Because the truth is, the biggest moves are not always the ones that look perfect on paper. Sometimes the most important decisions are the ones that create uncertainty. And that's exactly what happened across the NBA this summer. Teams weren't just trying to improve, they were trying to survive. Because the gap between being a championship contender and becoming irrelevant has never been smaller. One bad contract, One bad trade, one wrong decision, and a franchise can lose years of progress. That brings us to one of the most interesting moves of the offseason, LaMelo Ball heading to Minnesota. At first glance, it looked like a massive gamble. The Timberwolves already had a superstar in Anthony Edwards. They had built an identity around defense, athleticism, and toughness, but the playoffs exposed a major weakness. When teams focused their entire defense on Edwards, Minnesota needed another player who could create offense, someone who could take pressure away from their young star, and that's where LaMelo comes in. Because when healthy, there are very few players who can create shots and make impossible passes the way he does. His vision is special, his confidence is undeniable. But there is a reason this move comes with risk. Health has been the biggest question throughout his career, and in the playoffs, small weaknesses become huge problems. If LaMelo stays healthy and finds the right role next to Edwards, Minnesota could have created one of the most dangerous offensive duos in the league. But if things don't work, the Timberwolves could look back at this move as the moment they pushed too far, and that has been the theme of this entire offseason. Risk everywhere. Teams are no longer waiting for perfect opportunities. They are taking massive swings. Because the NBA has changed. Having one superstar is no longer enough. Having two stars might not even be enough. Teams are searching for every possible advantage because the championship race has become a battle of who can make the boldest move. And while some teams went all in, others were forced to accept a painful reality. The Golden State Warriors. For years, they lived in a completely different world. Stephen Curry changed the game. The Warriors created one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. But every dynasty eventually reaches the hardest question. When do you stop trying to extend the past and start building the future? This offseason created another wave of frustration for Golden State fans. Because while other contenders made aggressive moves, the Warriors appeared to miss out on opportunities that could have changed everything. And when you have a player like Curry, every missed opportunity feels bigger because time is the one thing you cannot replace. A younger player can wait, a rebuilding team can wait, but a superstar near the end of his prime does not have unlimited chances. Every season matters, every playoff run matters, every decision matters. That's why this offseason feels different. This wasn't just about trades and free agents. This was about teams choosing their future. Some chose to chase championships immediately. Some chose to protect their future assets. Some decided to take massive risks. And some might spend the next few years wondering what could have been. But the biggest question remains, which team actually won this offseason? Was it Philadelphia, adding one of the greatest players in basketball history? Was it Miami, landing a generational superstar? Was it Portland, betting everything on a former all-star talent? Or was there a team quietly making moves that nobody is talking about yet? Because every year, the off-season winners are easy to identify in July, but the real winners are revealed in May and June. A move that looks genius today can become a disaster tomorrow. And a move everyone laughs at can become the foundation of a championship. That's what makes the NBA impossible to predict. And that's why this offseason might be remembered as one of the most chaotic in league history. So now I want to hear from you. Which NBA offseason move do you think will have the biggest impact over the next few years? Was it LeBron joining Philadelphia? Giannis changing teams? Ja Morant going to Portland? Or do you think another move will completely change the league? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to know what you think. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more NBA stories, and turn on notifications because the next big NBA move could happen at any moment. This offseason proved one thing. In the NBA, everything can change overnight.